This is Jackie, and I'm here with Winston of Parkway Drive. We are here at Fillmore Silver Spring.
Yeah.
How's it going today?
Really good, really good.
Nice chill day, a little bit different than yesterday.
Yeah, no dust, which is
dust.
nice.
Now, you guys have been together for 16 years, Parkway Drive. What do you attribute to your band's longevity?
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know, because I don't know anything different, to be honest. That's the thing, like, it still feels fresh, it's still enjoyable to do, and it's still based on friendship and mutual interests to that degree. Like, it's just continued on and on and on and on and on, and we've just been given opportunity after opportunity, which we've chosen to take and expand on what we do, and it's the same mentality as it was when we started. That's the thing, like, it's still enjoyable, we still make music we want to hear and that we enjoy playing, and everything else is just a bonus on top. So, yeah.
Nice, I like that.
I guess, yeah.
So you and I, we talked about 3 years ago. It was November of 2015. So a while ago, Ire, I think, had just come out.
Yeah.
What has gone on for the band from the release of Ire till, like, maybe a couple of days ago?
A lot. A lot.
What are some highlights?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, Ire was like that. The record, which it was the first time where things changed for us. So, like, the sound went places which people didn't expect, and that, like, basically rattled cages, and at the same time, like, all of a sudden the band went and blew up, which was really, really cool. Like, it's just that the popularity of the band is much larger than it was then, and the shows have been absolutely insane, and the production and the shows we've been able to put on certain places around the world has just grown to the degree that we never could have imagined. Like, it's been really, really fun. So, yeah, and now we get to release another record, which is mental.
Yesterday, album number 6, Reverence, came out. How is it an evolution of sound from, let's say, Killing with a Smile or even Ire?
Oh my God!
Think way back then.
Yeah, that's the thing. Well, the best way to describe the evolution of it is it matches the evolution and the growth of people. Like, everything we write is simply, it's a reflection of who we are. And Killing with a Smile, like, our first full length, was written by 21-year-old kids. That's it, and like it was largely fueled on, like, adrenaline, and that's kind of about it, because that's what, like, our life was run by. And now, all these years later, like, we've experienced a hell of a lot more, and, like, I guess your tastes change and grow, and you grow as people, and also, like, you play, let's just say, a specific set of songs or a specific style of music for that long, and you find yourself wanting to play something on top of that, like something different as well. So you write something that's different. Like, it's just there's a reason you don't stay in the one grade at school forever. It's because you grow. So, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing from then till now. From Ire onwards, like, Ire was like searching for a way to redefine what we were and who we could be and what we wanted musically, and a different incarnation of that sound. This record was less about searching and more about knowing that we will choose to define ourselves in whatever way we want. That's it. And that the idea of Parkway Drive is simply what we choose to make it. So it's not about sticking to one specific thing. It's about literally choosing to make anything our own.
Speaking of not sticking to a specific thing, fans can be kind of fickle. They want the same Parkway Drive album, but then they don't want the same exact one. But then if you veer too far from that, like, how do you walk that line, or do you just do what you want to do and kind of deal with that afterwards?
You don't walk the line. That's it. Like, you just don't. There's no real line to walk. That's the thing. It's hey, like, it is what it is. At the end of the day, like, we write what we like because we're the ones that play it. We're the ones that, like, for us, we're not sitting there with, like, a formula of, like, okay, this person wants this and these people want this and they really like this one. We just go, this is what we enjoy. This is what feeds us, basically, like, as people, and nourishes us, because it's an outlet of the personalities. So, yeah, and the thing is, we live in a very hyper critical age because you have the medium of the internet. But the reality is, like, we have been, like, seeing this reaction to music we've done literally since the second release we've ever done. We put out, like, 2 songs and then put out an EP, and people were like, oh, like the 2 songs better, they were way better. And then we put out Killing with a Smile, and people were like, oh, the EP was way better than the full length. And it's happened every single album. It's just now you have a documentation of that real time on a stream. And it's funny because it's just like, a lot of people probably don't remember that far back because they weren't there, or that's the way that we digest information now. But I remember very, very well of going through this with every single album we've done. So
I think it's a really good reason to just do what you want to do anyway, because
exactly.
it's why bother?
Why bother? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's at the end of the day, I'm going to play this music and listen to this music more than anyone else on the planet. So you got to do something that you love.
Absolutely. So it seems like Reverence has a grittier feel. Were there certain deliberate changes that you made to kind of make things more aggressive sonically? Yeah.
It's just far. I think the grit of it comes from the character. Like it's a very visceral record, and it was the record where we wanted sonically. It to reflect the personality of, I guess, the characters behind it and the characters of the songs. And there wasn't this record, there wasn't the idea of going in and saying like, okay, this is the thing that you do well, say vocally, do that every song. It was about like listening to the song and figuring out what the personality of the song was and what would suit that and what would make it actually work. And the grit simply comes from the idea of taking away the concept of perfection in a vocal delivery. I find like in a lot of heavier music that I listen to, I find myself disconnected from emotion a lot of the time because I find like one tone of vocal delivery, even if it's pitched out or whatever, it just doesn't connect for every concept. And there was so many times on this record where the delivery had to be something that wasn't simply just like scream it, because it didn't match the emotion and it didn't match the character. So all of a sudden it's it's a dynamic record, so you end up with a lot more dynamics in all of the parts of it. So that's what we did.
I feel like 2018 is a very emotional time. Not to say that other years previously weren't, but I kind of feel like it's a heightened sense of emotion. Yeah. Were there certain things or events that inspired the songwriting on this album?
Yeah. Like it was basically like we put out Aya, and everything was awesome, like response-wise and everything, and the band was like under this big spotlight, and we had people going, that's amazing, and people going, that's shit, and all of that. And at the same point in time, we're on these stages bigger than anything we've played before, and we had a lot of tragedy going on in our life behind the scenes, and it really, really, really like life-defining events, basically, and that's what ended up coming out in the lyrics, and that was reflected then in the tone of the album. And like these albums that we write, they're simply like, we don't sit down and go, here's a concept and we'll map this thing out. They're written over a large period of time, and they're just a reflection of who the people are writing in that snapshot of time. And for us, it was a really like challenging time to be people. That's it, to be people, and to be like, and it came out just in the sounds and in the lyrics, because it was consuming to the degree that that's literally what, when it came to write, those are the words that ended up on the page.
And are there certain messages you hope fans receive, either from specific songs or just sort of the overall message of the album?
The overall message of the album is simply like take the time to, I guess, give even the smallest things their due, and realize that everything doesn't have to be the best thing or the worst thing. It's a culmination of every little event that's happening right now to make something special. And we live in this world where we just kind of want to move on and on and on and move past and define something as the greatest or the worst or anything, and you're missing what's happening now a lot of the time. So that was it, and that's what we realized, like at the end of it, when you lose something or someone, and you realize the tiny little things that made things special are the things that you miss.
Well said. So speaking of little moments, you've released 3 singles so far. So let's talk about each of those and kind of a little bit of background. So Wishing Wells was the first thing that came out. What was the inspiration behind that single?
That song's about dealing with grief. Like, it's about hyper-sensitive, like, aftershock of losing someone and trying to find something to blame. Like, basically, like, was written in the wake of people passing away from diseases which have no cure, and in circumstances which they can't tell you why. It just happens, and you're just like, well, everything I've been told doesn't make sense now, so why? And you're trying to find something to blame for it. That's it. And the survivor's guilt of, like, it happened to them and it didn't happen to me, like, and the rationalization of that and how it's just, it screws with your head. That's the thing. Like, it's very hard to deal with. And the idea of releasing it first was simply the record is, like, there's no two songs that sound alike on the record. So what do you do when it comes to, like, first single? It's like, hey, the whole record's going to sound like this. Here's an idea. And we're like, there's nothing we can do with this record that is going to give people an idea of what's coming. And it's very unique for anything we've done before. So we just, like, this is the way it starts, and at least this might give you an indication somewhat of where you're heading and the idea that it's going to be different, but it's still going to be Parkway, and it's also going to have a lot more emotion to it than anything we've done before. So that was kind of it. Yeah.
I think it starts you on the path.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's the start of the record, so that's it. Well, just like what's the start of the record. So,
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks.
So the visuals for that video are pretty on the nose. They're very dark. Yeah. It's just you performing. Who came up with the treatment for that video?
It was a weird one. It was just Ben and I, like our drummer, and the idea, like, it was so hard to come up with something for that. Like, we're so used to, like, vice grip and crush, jump out of a plane, things spinning around, like this massive entertainment value. And the whole last record was really bombastic and had these huge sounds and everything, and this is like the complete other side of it, and it's really introspective, and we're like, this is a really personal song, so the only thing we could put to it was something personal. And like, we really, like, the video was just like, press record and do the take and go, oh, yep, okay, cool, and then we do a few more, and at the end we're like, that's it. Like, that's it. It's literally me and the reflection of what the lyrics are. And we tried, like, we're like, is this entertaining enough? Like, what is a music video supposed to be? And we tried adding things and stuff to make it more entertaining, and it just didn't connect. And the connection is everything we aimed for on this record. So yeah.
I think those visuals are pretty poignant. I think it's a really great choice for it.
Yeah, like, the thing is, with everything on this record, we know it's not going to be for everyone. and the video is not going to be for everyone as well, but that's it. Like, again, like, it was about, the whole record was about commitment, like commitment to ourselves, commitment to the moment, and commitment to, like, the honesty of the emotion, and that was it for those visuals.
And next up was The Void. What was the inspiration behind that? Yeah,
that was exactly the opposite. Like, that's definitely one of the more wider based lyrical concepts. Like, it's far less personal. And the song was like, we gave him Wishing Wells, and then we gave him, like, probably the simplest cut from the entire album. So the concept for the actual music video we put in the hands of Alan, the director, and he just had this wild eye. Like, the whole thing was filmed with a robot filming. Like, the robot was the camera guy. So it's this mental camera on a robot that did the entire shot and was programmed to do the entire sequence, so we could play it over and over, so we could multi-layer all these different effects. And, like, there's shots where there's, like, 2 people in the one shot, and, like, Ben's drumming and gets dragged off by a SWAT dude, and then another Ben starts playing while the other guy's wrestling on the ground, and it's just designed to fuck with your head, basically. And the whole idea, like, the song is about, like, clones and alter egos, and the idea of us putting, like, all of our life into these avatars which we have in, like, this online realm which doesn't even exist, and we value that more than we value our own personality, our own, like, actual socialization skills with other people. So yeah, Alan came up with that concept, and we were just like, what the hell is he even talking about? It was like, no.
But let's do it.
Yeah, we're just like, okay, cool, we're putting our faith in you. And he's like, yo, who's going to get set on fire? And I was like, all right, I'll do that one. Cool, I'll get burnt. That'll be cool.
It's not a plane, so it's fine.
No, yeah, the getting set on fire was worse than the jumping out of a plane. So yeah, like, it was mental. Like for the fact it's like 5 seconds of the music video, it was insane. Like, the stunts for this thing, it was like full on, like, little Hollywood set with Hollywood stunt team and a robot filming us, and it was insane. Like, flashbangs going off, like a whole, like, an afternoon of me just getting lit on fire, and the whole room being full of flames, and me just trying not to get burnt alive, and it was mental.
Is that why you took a step back production-wise for Pray? Did a little more straightforward performance?
Almost, yeah. That's the thing. Like we went for 3 different things, and like Pray was always the song which we were like, with this carries the energy. Like when we wanted to bring across the energy of a live performance in that one, and also obviously tied in with the visuals, because the visuals are such a big part of the record and a big part of what the song actually is. So Pray was like the simplest one to do, simply because we gig. But yeah,
it's what you do best.
That is, yeah, and it was just in anticipation of playing that song live. So we just, that was it. When we wrote that song originally, we wrote that very specifically, going, this is made for live performance. So that's how we're going to capture it with the film.
Speaking of live performances, yesterday was Carolina Rebellion.
Yeah.
How'd that go? And how do you go about choosing your set now that you have a new album coming out for a festival where you have a very set amount of time?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. Like it went amazing. Like that was our second time playing Carolina Rebellion, and it was amazing the first time. It was even better the second time. So it's just been nuts. Like playing. I don't think we've ever been in a position like this where we have like handfuls of songs which are all bangers. We're just like, well, what the hell are we going to play? Like we're having to leave these songs out which we know people want to hear, and we know go down really well live, and we don't have enough time to play, and we've never had that before. And the fact that like Reverence only came out yesterday, and we already, like, the 3 songs we've been playing that are off that already before the record came out were already like some of the biggest songs of the set. So we're like, what the hell happens when we've got the whole record out? So it's going to be very interesting, because like we're not that band that discards everything in the past. It's not like, no, we've got a new record, this is all we've got. Like, it's all designed to build and build and build upon. Like Parkway Drive's evolution is something that continues to grow rather than just moves in chunks. So finding those sets is now a challenge.
I say it's a tough problem to have, but I mean, it's a good problem to have.
It's a good one. That's the thing. I like the idea that we can create a set list that is varied. Like a lot of the creation process for us. One of the main things of the creation process for us is playing live, because we're obviously, live is what we do, and then we try and capture that on a record. But these days, the idea of a live performance is like a lot longer than what it used to be. Like we don't want to just crank out half an hour of adrenaline, because when you're playing for an hour and a half, that doesn't last. So the idea of moving it into different places, so you can have like a very varied spectrum of sound, a very varied live experience, is something that comes into mind when we're writing songs. So we take into account aspects and areas which we haven't gone before, simply because that's a dynamic which will work well in juxtaposition with other sounds that we already have. Rather than like trying to rewrite an old song, we'll try and create something completely new that will work with an older song, like to create or heighten a certain moment, or give us a moment which we haven't had before, and build that live set so it goes in as many different interesting places as possible, so you remember it rather than just going, donk. That's it. Half an hour and you're cooked, and then you want to go to the bar, like, so it's engaging. Yeah.
Speaking of 30 minutes of adrenaline, over the course of your career so far, you've played Warped Tour several times. Yeah. How has playing Warped, it's the last year now, how has playing Warped shaped your career, especially here in the US?
Oh, it was a big launching pad for us, because it put us in front of a hell of a lot of people. So I think we did Warped 3-4 times. And for us growing up, it was a big deal as well. Like, that was the first music festival I ever went to when it came to Australia. So that's nuts. And will it be the last one? We'll see. So
I think it's the last of this version. Exactly. I think it's going to look different, but there will still be some sort of a warp.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. But I'm really stoked that we're supposed to be a part of it. So it was definitely a huge deal for us. And I can't believe we still get to tour America. So it's rad that we're still going, and we do have a lot of thanks for Warped for giving us that opportunity and putting us on those stages all those years.
And speaking of tour, this is technically the first official day, or Carolina Rebellion was. Yeah. What does the rest of 2018 look for you, at least as far as you can see so far?
Busy. No, it's nice to be on the ground when the record actually drops. And we've got another week of gigs after this, and then we go home for a week, and then we fly to Europe and do a couple of days of pre-production, and we go into literally the biggest shows we've ever played, these festival slots, which are just mind-boggling. So yeah, it's good. Like playing to like hundreds of thousands of humans is going to be very nice. But we've got that, and then there's an announcement we'll be coming back here quite shortly, and then we'll be doing Australia. And it kind of just doesn't, like, this is when things go the hardest, is as soon as the record's finished. So we're really psyched. Like, it's the sets are, we've already got ideas of what songs we think people will enjoy, but like just judging on the feedback, we're like, well, people kind of like everything. So we're really going to have to try and pick and choose and create some interesting set lists and bring back a show which will top what people expect from us. So that's nice. Like, it's really good. This is I think it's our third time here at Silver Springs, like in Fillmore, and it's every time's been mental. And like, we saw the ticket sales for tonight. It's bonkers. We get to do that this 3 times, and it's still this good. Sweet. Onwards and upwards, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, stay tuned for much more from Parkway Drive. Be sure to pick up Reverence out in stores now. This is Jackie. Thanks in the Key of Change and Chorus FM.